Good morning and welcome everybody to the webinar. My name is David Howard. I'm the head of marketing for BuzzBoard, and I'm going to turn over in a minute to Philip Cortez, who heads up our training and development, to give the demonstration. We are recording the webinar this morning, and we'll be happy to take questions. Just jump in at any time in the chat. We'll field your questions. And like I said, we're recording. We'll make the recording available to everybody after the webinar as well. So with that, and no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Philip to launch into the demo of BuzzBoard Ignite.
Thanks, David. Totally appreciate it. Hey, everybody. Welcome to BuzzBoard. You know, it never ceases to amaze me. This platform is forever evolving. I think in the past 10 years, I've seen almost every iteration of our platform, and time again, the geniuses that work in development, on the dev team, our engineers, our data analysts, the people that work behind the scenes, they're always thinking of new ways to improve our product. And of course, it's a lot of that change is driven by our users that currently have BuzzBoard and currently leverage it in different ways. So, with that said, I want to talk about, I really do want to focus a little bit on that business overview report. That is a digital asset that for me, it's just, for my money, at least, and for my time as somebody who wants to sell my digital products and services, somebody who wants to engage with a prospect and convert them, of course, then I want to make sure that BuzzBoard is leveraged in the right way. And this digital asset called the Business Overview Report is something that really does make life a lot easier for me. But backing up a little bit, for anybody who's brand new to BuzzBoard, we can use BuzzBoard in three major ways. I mean, these are the three pillars that we discuss here internally about, what is our platform? What is it really good for? And if we were to just really slice it and dice it and put it into three main blocks or pillars, then you'll see here on our homepage, we can identify high quality prospects. We can effectively strategize and engage with prospects, and we can retain and expand existing clients. So throughout the sales process, whether it's top of the funnel, whether it's your CNA, whether it's a close or an upsell, BuzzBoard has a place. It fits. And I've said this numerous times. There's not one right way of using BuzzBoard. Ultimately, it's going to be your way. I see teams using it completely different from other teams. But as long as it's adding value to you, that's exciting to us. Now, here we are, we have to add value to our prospects. So let's talk a little bit about some of this information that we can see here. One of the things, if you're brand spanking new to our platform, is that we do here at BuzzBoard, our bread and butter is that we want to score small to medium-sized businesses. And we have a big database. It's 25 million plus businesses in the United States that we want to identify and update. We want to make sure that we're tapping into all our different data sources so that we can score that business from 0 to 100. This one happens to be Mosquito Joe of Greater Austin. This was added into the platform. It's super easy to prospect and add into the platform. But at an 83, then as I scroll down, here's the key segments of that digital marketing spectrum. This is what we're doing at BuzzBoard. In order for me to score these key segments, as you can see here, then we got to tap into different APIs, different data sources that we can, really depend on so that we can come up with that overall digital health score from 0 to 100. And it's like a participation score. Okay, it doesn't really talk about execution. That's where my salesmanship is going to come into play. That's where my expertise is going to kind of take over. But I want to make correlations. I see that they're advertising, which is great. At a 71 with social media, it does not mean that they're barely passing social. When we talk about a score, it's just about participation. If I click on that bar for social media, it's going to take me into my details. And of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because it's forever growing, this list, TikTok business accounts are brand new, then I'm involved with 5 out of those 7. Okay, so we see activity for this specific business, 5 out of the 7 platforms that we're tracking. So roughly speaking, we're giving it that 71, but it doesn't talk about execution. It doesn't tell me that they're really, really just killing it on YouTube. And how can I find out, right? Well, let me click on this check mark, because once that business is added into BuzzBoard, then I can very quickly identify how a business is communicating. And if you're making video, if you're trying to leverage something called YouTube, the second largest search engine in the world, well, then that's something that is really interesting to me, because with video, we can do so many things, but I can also find out how. It's often the times where I like to look at the personality of a business. I'll learn some things by going to Mosquito Joe's website, but I'm really going to learn about what drives this company. What's their personality like? What's important to them when I see videos? So if I go in, let's just quickly go in here. We're going to start off with the latest, and this is 3 months ago. So, now it's going to start driving my engagement. Why did you stop? I mean, that was 3 months ago, but that's okay. Of the 109, how many became customers? I see some longer form videos here, 3 minutes 13, but that was 9 months ago. It didn't give them a lot of views. Okay, so if video is something that's important to them, then oh my gosh, we can introduce a lot of solutions here, from production all the way to OTT and everything in between. Nothing is off the table when I've got somebody that wants to try and communicate with the greater audience. Okay. And that's what people do when they have their own YouTube channels. So when I see a check mark like this anywhere in social media, but really with this one, then I know that I'm in business. It's a conversation that I want to have. Okay. All right. So let's dive into some of these digital assets here, because when we're able to come in and download specific reports, then I have a compact report of a business. But we also have our competitive analysis. We have a Google Ads report when somebody is spending on Google. And we have this new AI-driven digital asset called the Business Overview Report. I've downloaded one for Mosquito Joe, so it's really easy to get to. So let's take a look. Now, one of the things that I really, really appreciate about BuzzBoard saving me time when I want to offer value, okay? I mentioned that earlier on our call here, is that when we're offering our prospects immediate value, we're in the driver's seat. It really does separate ourselves from everybody else who's trying to get the same marketing dollars from Mosquito Joe that I am. Okay. We start to position ourselves in a better way as trusted advisors. When we add value initially, or as soon as we possibly can, it absolutely sets us apart. And a lot of people like to lead with audience. If you're selling, if you're in a media company, we always want to talk about our strengths and how it can translate to a business. But I like it when I get to talk to the business about them and be very inquisitive and very consultative with them. So let's go to the content area. We're going to have an overview of this business. We're going to offer a customer analysis, a SWOT analysis, the digital state summary, the digital state analysis, that competitive piece, and product recommendations all in one shot. No pun intended. I mean, literally, I did not mean to. Just so happens that there's a shot here. But let's start with that digital score of an 83. What we're essentially saying here is from 0 to 100, it's more of a participation score here. But from an 83 standpoint, yeah, there's room for improvement. You're trending in the right direction. Here's the category information and a nice summary of this business. So we want them to understand that, listen, how I got that 83, and again, I'll go back to the summary. And we've got this also in the BOR, the Business Overview Report, is we want to take a look at the key segments of that digital marketing spectrum. So things that we can say here are, hey, listen, in order for me to help you grow your business, or in order for me to help you get the ROI that you're looking for, I have to look at you holistically. And at an 83, This is what's behind that 83, the key segments of the digital marketing spectrum. And essentially, that's what we're telling you here. Now, let's talk a little bit about your customers, because this right here, I feel out of everything in the BOR, I really do love this one, because in my old life, maybe I was only talking about a certain customer segment. And with that specific customer segment in mind, I had a proposal or something ready in my mind or in my head, right? When I was going to go talk to that customer. The customer analysis is pretty awesome because now it's giving me different customers and it's segmenting them for me so that it's positioning me as somebody who's going to offer value. I can now approach a business like this and say, hey, David, you know what? Let's talk a little bit about your customers. I ran a customer analysis and I had these in mind. All right. And I'd be interested to find out if I'm missing anything here. I mean, it's okay to admit that we might be missing something. They're the experts at what they do. I'm never going to pretend that I know more about their own business than them, especially their customers. But in some cases, they might say, well, you know what? Yeah, we do get the price sensitive clients and, they're not really the people that we want to, obviously they kind of nickel and dime us. That's okay. There's still a way we can still reach them in a different way. In fact, if you give me more customers, we can also run more customer segmentation pieces and provide a value proposition for each. And how is this important? Well, I might have, as I said earlier, had a specific proposal amount in mind or an idea, but because I now have access to more customer information coupled with what feedback I'm going to get with my prospect, my proposal just could have increased times two. I might have just been thinking about one of them, but now I'm in a good position to say, listen, we could be leaving money on the table if we're not going to talk to them that we've identified. But the thing is that they all get their information in different ways. So while we can run a campaign for them, these kind of require their own campaigns. And now we're building a bigger proposal. We're letting them know that we have the propensity or the capacity to grow their business and give them a better ROI because we're expanding that proposal or our resources to touch these different segments. And I know people that use this and only this as a nice leave behind, as upfront work that they were able to execute or perform for them, coupled with like a business card or something. Talk to me. Let's talk more about your customers. I'm interested to learn more about your business. Some people take a screenshot of that. This is a PDF, but pretty soon it's going to be available as a PowerPoint. And I can't wait for that because then we can start changing the order if we wanted to, or just using these as little one-offs, right? But the customer segmentation piece, you're not going to find it in the platform. It's not a part of the user interface here. There's not a section for it. You'll only find it in that business overview report. So again, to get that business overview, you just want to head over to the right-hand side of our, this right side menu here in the platform under download. And once you click on that, then you'll find it right over here. Okay, that's the business overview report. And that's going to allow you to get that customer analysis piece. It's the only place you'll be able to find this specific page. Okay. Now, I'm going to jump back into the platform here because as I start off into my summary, what we're doing at BuzzBoard is once we add a business in and we get the data, okay, so once we get that 83, it's really important to note that first comes the data, then comes the AI-driven insights, starting with our summary right over here. And then almost immediately, once we get that data and the AI starts to generate through the LLM, then we're going to start with a nice SWOT analysis. And again, here, David, here's another example of something that I did not notice before. We have a SWOT analysis here, but they've added the conversation starters.
Yep.
They've added the competitive analysis as well, that summary that we can download. And they've added personalized emails here. all in one area. I love this. This is really, really cool. So we'll dive into that in a second. But the SWOT analysis is something that businesses pay big money for. And I know people who've leveraged this to get their foot in the door in a better way. Again, that word value, because it's immediate when they can say something like, as a courtesy, I did some research on your business. In fact, I actually created a SWOT analysis that I'd love to go over with you, including these strengths. We can maximize those strengths. I like the way you're positioning yourself right now, but it only makes sense to talk about some of your threats. Okay. In fact, why don't you give me your top 3 competitors? Because we have an area for competition in BuzzBoard that I really do like. So with that SWOT analysis, talking about those strengths and then pivoting to threats, it allows me to obtain really good data, really good intel when they give me their top 3 competitors, because we're able to run this analysis. And here's that AI-driven analysis on this business. But as I scroll down, we've got their scores. And from top to bottom, we've got the comparatives, okay, that we can come in and start talking about. But I also love the fact that we have their numbers and we've got their data to compare, which means that now I know this intel and I can convert them to a profile. I can convert them and I can convert them. If it worked for me to get the appointment by leveraging SWOT, pivoting to competition and obtaining top 3 competitors, every time they answer my question and I have them and I can add them in, then they're giving me 3 more prospects. They're giving me 3 more qualified leads right from the horse's mouth. Doesn't get any easier for me to prospect than that. So while they're thinking I'm giving them value times 3, or we're layering on more value on top of that SWOT with competition, times 3, we're getting it back potentially and more, because we're going to do the same thing. 74, give me your top 3. 79, give me your top 3, and on and on and on. And back to that business overview, we absolutely have that SWOT analysis here. So as some people do with the customer segmentation piece, the customer analysis is a one-off. Some people do that. Okay, they'll use this one and they'll leave that behind. If they're knocking on doors, if they're trying to shake people's hands and drop off business cards, or however the case is, we're always prospecting, man. We're always hunting, right? So this is another piece that I do appreciate. I mean, I really do like the way it was graphically designed and how it's kind of spaced out like that. Coupled with your business card or something, that's awesome. I know people, again, that take screenshots of this and they move on and send an email. And here it is. Here's that digital state summary in that business overview. So as I'm sharing this information, I'm not giving away the house. I'm just letting them know how they fall within that digital marketing spectrum, all these key segments here that make up that 83. And then we go into each section with a summary of e-commerce, of advertising, Google reviews, and so on and so forth. And then here's that competitive piece. Now, I don't have to download a competitive report that's got all those data, all those checks like this. This can get a little confusing. If I'm client facing, fine. I can go to a certain area and I can say, you know what, you're running 7, they're running 64 Facebook ads, which means they are really, really trying to leverage social media over here. And let's take a look at some of those ads. So if I want to dive deeper, I'm going back into the platform and I'm showing them, okay, this is what they're doing. These are the active ads that we can see, and this is how they're trying to communicate. Okay, we could do this better. We could scale it. All right, but this is really how they're trying to increase their market share and how they're expecting this market share to turn into revenue for them. When we want to dive deeper, we absolutely can here. But with the business overview report, and we want to leave them with something that's going to, again, bring them value, but allow us to come in and get more detailed with them. This is nice. It's a nice snapshot for each of the competitors that we found. Okay, a little analysis of each of those areas. Okay. And then lastly, we've got product recommendations. Now this, David, is where it gets really interesting because, for, let's say, an agency that you have, hypothetically, you have an agency and you specialize in certain products. Your bread and butter might be SEO. Let's just say that, right? Amongst a few other areas. But what we can do for you is we can take your specific products and bake them into the platform. And what I mean by that, so instead of social advertising, you might call it David's Social, or David Social Plus, or Social Plus Plus, or some, I've heard different names, right? Well, then we're going to start talking your language here with product recommendations, and it's editable in the platform as well. So you can absolutely edit any of the content that comes out in the product recommendations piece. Okay, and we can find that in main platform as we scroll up here under content, or excuse me, recommendations. It's right here. Yeah, so recommendations right over here. We can download these, we can copy them to a clipboard. Here's where we can edit and make any changes that we need to. Okay, so if I wanted to call it David's Plus Plus, I could totally erase that, do it, save it, and I'm on my way. Any changes that I make inside the platform will reflect over here on this report. Okay. So there it is. This is the one feature that I feel, and I'm seeing from a usage standpoint, that people are downloading this like gangbusters, and they're leveraging it in different ways. But we're just getting really good feedback on this. And I think this alone is just amazing. We were able to download this in virtually no time. It takes about 30, 40 seconds for it to truly download based on, off of all the data that we're looking at here. But in order to generate a report like this on my own manually, I mean, David, how long do you think it would take? You're an expert, and I'm sure it'll take you a lot longer than a minute, right?
Oh, hours. We're talking hours to pull this kind of stuff together.
That's right. And we do that for each and every single business. So this was Mosquito Joe's. But as I look into my profiles here, businesses that we've added, any business that you add in a BuzzBoard, we're going to score them out. Okay. And the personalized content that we're going to be able to provide, here's a pull service, is only going to pertain to the pull service. So it's not cookie cutter. Starting with that summary, starting with that SWOT analysis, and so on and so forth. Okay, so with that said, we wanted to keep this one kind of short and sweet. Do we have any questions? Any questions at all?
Yeah, if you have a question, you throw it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. We're happy to take a question by voice. Just a reminder, we are recording, and we'll make the recording available. And we do invite questions for Philip to dive into the product and answer your question and show an answer to your question.
And, something that we do here a lot, that you just kind of reminded me here, David, support. I mean, the support that we have with this platform is second to none. People always have questions, whether they want to ask them or not, or whether they're thinking about something. And that's okay. If this is your first touch point, right? If this is the first time you've experienced this platform, you're probably going to have a lot of questions. I have people who have used this platform for about a week and they still have some questions, and that's fine. I mean, we love to answer them. But from a support standpoint, help is all around. This little question mark will give you access to our knowledge base. You can also raise a ticket if you wanted to contact support directly, or you could just contact me, Philip@buzzboard.com, or David@buzzboard.com, or support. Support is all around us. And then lastly, there's a phone number. I mean, not a lot of people will just give you their phone number to talk to a live person immediately if you need immediate support on something. I was one of those guys, David. I absolutely made the call when I was beta testing BuzzBoard, and this was 10 years ago, as I said earlier on the call. And I spoke to Marilyn Sartori, who is our VP of operations here at BuzzBoard.
Yeah.
And she helped me by bulk uploading about 100 different prospects that I had on a spreadsheet that I was working off of. This is a true story. And she uploaded them into my account so that I could get the information that I needed, the score I needed for each one of those businesses so that I can move forward and try and close. And I did. I closed some of them, which was awesome. So if it wasn't for that, that's where I really started to just get wowed by the platform. And I was so wowed. Well, here we are, right?
There we
10
are.
years later, and we're still, we're still trying to make sure that we're wowing everybody else as they use the platform. So the support that we provide is second to none, in my opinion. I firsthand experienced it. And I think the next best step, if you want to move forward, is to go get that demo. And so, or get that free trial. So I'm going to go to our website, buzzboard.ai. And
Yeah,
you
well,
need a
Philip,
credit
go ahead,
card.
Philip, pull that up. I just want to say also, if you can get a free trial directly there, but you could also contact either Philip or myself to schedule a one-to-one demo. Lots of times people join the webinars and they don't want to ask a question in a public forum. You're welcome to reach out to us directly, david@buzzboard.com, for myself, and request a one-on-one demonstration.
Yeah, I think that's a great route to go. Obviously, I mean, it doesn't matter. We provide training and support for large teams, and we do a lot of one-on-ones. David@buzzboard.com. If you've got questions, or if you want, if you don't want to start a free trial yet, just know that we're not taking any information as far as a pay. You don't need that credit card. We definitely say it on our website. Give it a test drive. That's the best way to go about it. Any lasting thoughts, David?
Well, just Philip, as always, you give a tremendous demo, and I just want to vouch for the high level of customer support that Marilyn and team provides. We're always getting accolades and high net promoter scores for the level of service that the team provides. So if you have any hesitations, don't. Get to the website there up on the top right hand corner, free trial, or reach out to Philip or myself. And I'm David@buzzboard.com. We'll be happy to schedule with Marilyn to give a one-on-one demo.
Awesome. David, have a great day.
All right. Thanks, Philip. Thanks, everybody. And yes,
Thank you, everybody.
we'll get the recording out as well. Thanks so much, everyone.
Bye, everybody.